All right, good morning, everybody. A nice frosty morning up here in northeast Ontario. She frosted really hard last night. Kind of sucks too, because my fruit trees are all in leaf now and the cherry trees are even in blossom. Have a look around, look at that frost on that ground over there. She frosted hard last night. But anyway, we've had frost probably 2 or 3 or 4 nights now in the last week, so it hasn't been good if you got any plants or anything out like that. But anyway, I'm on this job this morning. I worked all day yesterday on this. And really, it's a newer home build, and all I'm doing right now is getting rid of a lot of this clay, sandy loam that's in here. A lot of clay, sand combo, loamy ground in here. It breaks up pretty good, but a lot of low spots. Not a lot of rocks in here, though, mind you. And I've probably moved now, yesterday, a couple 100 yards of fill here. Just soil from the home build and excavation from when they built this house and that's what I'm on this morning. And so we're going to get at her. And this job here is like 2 minutes from my house. So I burned pretty much 3/4 of a tank of fuel yesterday in this machine. 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and I ran from 8 o'clock in the morning pretty much steady till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This machine ran a full 8 hours pretty much. If I had 15 minutes for lunch, that was stretching it. I just kind of work right on the fly all day long. And she burned 3/4 of a tank of fuel on 8 hours. I thought I could do it on a full tank or very close to it. And maybe I could have if I stretched it. But I always carry a little spare jerry can with me. And by the way, these things here are your #1 contamination of fuel filters and fuel systems right here. When you're transferring fuel from a jerry can into a machine, that's where you're going to pick up most of your contamination. Just saying. And this here's the kind of soil that kind of sticks to your boots. Not bad, but it's sticky. Okay, we're gonna fire this thing up and we got to get rid of the last of this pile. And I will say this has been, as of right now, the busiest spring that I've had since I've been up here. And this is my 3rd year up here. It's getting progressively busier. Like I've got at least 3 jobs ahead of me after this one here. And so we got to get at her. Got the main power shut off. Just goes to show you how cold it was up here last night, the way that machine started just now. She was cold, man. Even the hummingbird feeders are frozen this morning. There she is. Just kind of rolling down with the lay of the land. And I may end up down the road putting a tile drain in here. Or a good rock swale coming right down the hill here. I just laid everything out with the grade of the land here. But have a look at this. Not the water. That's got to dry out before I can go any further on this job, so that's just going to stay. But what a nice little solar setup, eh? We're off grid back in here. So I ran the fill yesterday up against the house and just graded that. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it is graded up against the house and swales down away from that house. And I think we got to put a tile drain in here for this fella. I'm going to talk to him and get this kind of drained out there. That's a lower spot in there. I just don't particularly like the way this is built here and the way the water runs down into this lower portion of this house. But that's the way it was set up, and my job's just to come in here and level out the fill and work with what I got. So there you go. And we may put a tile drain in there and just run it past that yellow diesel can and all the way out to that field and just drain this whole yard and this lower spot, one long run. Okay, next job, we got to move these propane tanks and trench that propane line in permanently. Alright you guys, thanks for tuning in. I've got I forgot to mention, I got a whole bunch more work to do here. I got to put some walkways into these little cubicles he's got back in the bush. I got to do more grading, propane lines as you've seen. So this one job of my first customer, this first phone call from this new customer, he looked at the grading job, he loved the backyard now. Actually, he really loved the backyard now. It's kind of a usable backyard. So anyway, he's got a whole bunch more work lined up on this new home build here. So thanks for tuning in. We got the machine load. We're going to move on to the next one.